Banguilla. And at this time, I want to say pleasant good morning to the folks we have in front of us here. Tabia Nelson, she's a senior official at the IRD department, and I want to say pleasant good morning to you.
Good morning, Hamill. Good morning, Radioland.
All right. Well, she's been joined by our producer of one of our very popular programs on Class FM, Mrs. Jennifer Gums, on the Health and Wealth program, and a lady as well. They're together. Tell me, what is the assignment this morning? What's happening?
So this morning we'll be making a presentation to the Cancer Society on behalf of the FIM partners.
Okay. Okay, so Mrs. Gums wears many hats, folks. She's a producer, she's a health promotion unit specialist, and she's also a member of the Cancer Society of Banguilla, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So the presentation will be made this morning.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
So on behalf of the FIM partner, we just want to present you with this token, the Anguilla Cancer Society. We say thank you.
Thank you. All right, and Mrs. Gums, we know that the work of yes, you will, please. Yes. So here's the check, folks, and all right, and this is for the work of the society, Mrs. Gums?
Right, okay, this is for Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes.
Okay, Breast Cancer Month was during the time of October, but
yes.
we know that even last week when we were supposed to have the walk, it was postponed due to the bad weather that we had. I just want radio listeners to know that it will be on Friday, which is today, at 4 p.m. We're going to be starting from the gazebo to the lakes roundabout and back. So on the behalf of the Anguilla Cancer Society, I would like to say a pleasant thank you for this donation. Breast cancer is the leading cancer affecting women in Anguilla, and I know it would go a long way to help persons to do mammograms, because during the month of October we had names that to assist with mammograms, and a mammogram is actually $120 US. So Youth Medical Center normally gives us the mammogram for $100. So this will go a long way. So just want to say on behalf of the Anguilla Cancer Society to the Financial Information Team, a special thank you.
Okay, so this donation came from where, Tavia? From the IRD department? Is it a contribution from?
No, the Financial Information
partners.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Came
so
together.
which consists of different partners would be like the Ministry of Finance, the banks, like most of the financial institutions that forms the Financial Information team.
All right. And the value of this check, the amount, can we talk about that a bit? Is it?
I believe it's $2,500.
Okay. East Caribbean dollars, US dollars, EC dollars. Okay. You're not sure?
Not sure.
I'm not sure. But $2,000. Okay, good. All right. That's a good contribution to the society. And again,
and I also want to say, because Hama was asking if it's EC or US, but I always tell persons if you go to the shop, right?
Yes.
And something costs $5, you only have 4.
Yes.
The cashier is still going to be waiting for the dollar. So I just want to say that every cent counts. Regardless of it's US or EC, we say a big thank you.
Yes, you need to do that. And again, quickly about the work of the association. Your work, you mentioned that I know that over the years too, you've contributed to other persons too with treatment overseas. That association.
Yeah, even before I get to that, I just want to thank Sister Angela for coming along with us. She is one of the stalwarts in the Anguilla Cancer Society. So
member of the
see all
society?
those persons that were telling, wearing the picture.
Yes.
She and another lady by the name of Alice is responsible for selling nearly all those
all
shirts.
T-shirts.
So we just want to say thank you. Yes, the Anguilla Cancer Society helps with biopsies. They help with persons flying overseas with treatment. They help with screening in such of whether it's mammograms or whether it's pap smears. It goes a long way. And one of the things that we always want to say that we never want to say no to anyone.
No.
Regardless of whether it's treatment or what, we want to know that we can assist. So on behalf of the society, a big thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer Gums. Thank you. Yes, for the cameraman. And okay, and thank you, Angela, as well, for your work with the Cancer Society of Banguilla. And I know they sold lots of shirts, and for sure, Angela's one of the persons who's the driving force behind of that. Angela, okay, and Jennifer. Okay, they're all here. Thank you. And all right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Bye-bye. All right. Okay. All right, so now for
So I'll
folks.
be joined with the rest of the IRD team
Right now. About Financial Information Month, and of course we know this month is a very important month, and I know that it's good to learn about financial information. That's area and this jurisdiction, you need to be aware financially of what's happening around you. So, at IRD department, the management team, I want to say good morning to you.
Good morning. Everyone.
Right. Now tell me now, what are you doing for this month? FIM month. What are you producing? What are you doing? Tell me.
Well, as it says, financial. Make sure everyone is financially literate enough to understand our taxes and understand why we do what we do.
Yes.
As our mission statement says, Emma, we are committed towards collecting taxes with fairness, efficiency, and integrity in a timely and cost-effective manner, while providing courteous and quality services to our taxpayers. So that's how. Taxpayers, as you will see, with smiling faces, welcoming. We try to assist, our taxpayers in a good manner as possible.
All right. Now, in terms of resilience, a part of it right now, that's a big theme right now. And how can this, along with that, how can that department help our people of Anguilla to achieve that level of resiliency?
Right. Well, Emma, as you know, we administer taxes. So government have policies right now. Plan. So with our taxes that we collect, those go into making sure that we have facilities, schools, roads. It goes back into our public facilities. Burdensome on some persons. The end result is that it kind of keep the population running like a well-oiled machine. Right now we're going to tax reform, so you may be aware that we're looking to remove property tax, for example, from the residential side of things. So I had to stress on that word, residential. So that just means property from those will be still taxable. All right. So and all in the residential part of it, we're just losing about a little under $3 million from that. But nonetheless, we've made that up persons who own homes, and also to encourage persons who are looking to build homes to be able to.
On property taxes, though, how will that be dealt with? How will that be treated?
Right. So just like those who paid, right? We can't just write off for those who missed. So we bills, going out. But if you had anything owing, pay. So that will still hinder you if it comes to tax clearances, etc. That's outstanding. So we expect to zero those things out. And by zeroing it out, I don't mean tomorrow you have to bring me a check right. Your payment plan and your means as well. We look at your means. Yes, we have a set criteria. Receive that payment from you, but still at the same time not burden you with could find something for you that fits your pocket.
Mr. Hobson, I recall some years ago there was a figure banded around on property tax. I'm not sure if it's on your mind right now still, but give me an idea as to the estimated figure.
To bring that up for you.
Roughly.
But roughly, I would say that a little bit $1 million on right at this stage where we are property tax specific.
Property tax.
Yes.
1 million.
Yes, sir. Right. So, and that's we have brought it down a lot. You noticed we have done an initiative where we went out to collect a lot of those outstanding arrears. Person have responded pretty well. It was sometimes, in some instances, maybe a mishap or misunderstanding. Some people weren't receiving the actual bill, but by us going out to them and meeting them, or leaving it on their doorstep, or leaving it on the door and meeting them actually, they will realize that they did have a property tax outstanding, and we brought it in.
All right.
So that's how it stands right now. So persons who would have paid theirs in full, they wouldn't feel too happy to know that those persons who didn't pay.
I met some persons who was about that.
Correct.
And I want her to deal with that. I
quite naturally, I'd understand that too, because then you might feel like, well, great, but that's not the intention. But we are
okay. And you're the director of IRD.
Controller in the Revenue Department, and my deputy is right next to me.
Yes.
along with my assistant controller.
Now, Deputy, good morning. Your name, please?
Good morning, Tamika Fleming.
Tamika Fleming. A bit about, the taxes that are collected here. I'm sure you have a list of taxes that are collected at this department that we can share with the public. Also help to drive, FIM intelligence, I'm sure.
Okay, so some of the main taxes that we collect would be first and foremost GST, because that is the main revenue generator right now, and then USL, Universal Social Levy, and we also collect property tax, as Mr. Hobson was just discussing. And in addition to those taxes, those are like the three main taxes, and business licenses is also collected here, so we administer that as well. But we also collect motor vehicles, driver's licenses, all fines, fees, permits that the government has to administer. We collect. We are mostly like the collection agency for some of the other fees and to assist other government departments in their role as well.
Your perspective on how this department is helping our people to achieve resiliency?
Well, as the main revenue collecting agency, we try to administer tax in a fair and equitable manner. And we don't set the policies, we don't make the determination of the policies, but what we try to do as far as possible is to make it as easy for taxpayers to comply as possible. So we have been introducing a lot of technology in the way that we do our work. We have the online portal for filing your GST returns and Universal Social Levy returns, and you can also make payments to your property tax online, but you have to first register, sign up on the online portal in order to facilitate that. But we've been trying as far as possible to be as helpful as possible to taxpayers. We also have payment arrangements, so if you have outstanding arrears, it's best to come and speak with us, as Mr. Hobson indicated, because this could continue to grow and you would not be able to progress if you want to make an investment like buy land, for instance. It might hinder you. So it's best to come in and speak with us, and we can make arrangements with you to get that debt paid off.
Let's explain how that will affect persons out there if you have outstanding those property tax bills or other bills, and how will that impact your credit worthiness, how will that impact you as a person? Explain, please.
Well, as I was alluding to, if you want to invest, if you want to open a bank account, if you want to open a business, you're required to have a certificate of good standing.
Tax clearance.
And a tax clearance is referred to as usually. So you would need to be in good standing in order to progress those things. But most people, maybe not, that's not an interest of theirs, but your name is all you have.
Yes. Okay, and Keisha, hold on for me. Keisha, good morning to you, Keisha.
Good morning.
Okay, and your title here, your job?
Assistant Controller, Taxpayer Services.
Taxpayer Services. Now, digitization of these services, streamlining, and Tamika mentioned that earlier there, and where are we with that now? Are we fully now digitized at the IRD?
I would say at least about 90% we're getting there. It's just for us to get the public to come along, get on board with us to getting everything digitalized. We are working very hard to get all our taxpayers on the online portal. It's for their convenience, it makes ease of doing business easier for them, and then it also assists them with keeping track of their accounts. So we are definitely working on trying to migrate all our taxpayers to our online portal so that it makes life more convenient.
So what does that process entail? The migration of your customers to the portal, what do they have to do? What do we have to do? Come and sign something? What do you do? Tell me.
Well, it's as easy. You can even make a phone call, or even if you come in, you're paying a bill. Our taxpayer officers, they engage with the taxpayers to let them know, okay, you have X amount of time. It will be easier for you. We can sign you up on the online portal. You can monitor and review your accounts on a regular basis. So as the customer comes in, we give them a code for them to go on to register online. They enter their code and voila, they're on their account and they can access all their taxes. They can even pay their taxes. Yeah, so they can pay the taxes online, or they can do it through bank transfer. In that process of making it very streamlined, easy. process.
And how easy is the process? You mentioned easy a while ago. I mean, sometimes you go online, sometimes you become confused. How easy is the use system?
I think it's user-friendly.
User-friendly?
You can complete a process less than 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Once you that would take a little time, and that is still less than 5 minutes would be the actual registration. But once you go in and register, it's very easy because of course you can save your password. So basically you go in, you click,
you're on.
Yep.
You're on one time.
Yep.
Oh,
Just select IRD portal,
okay.
and then you go in. It shows all your accounts right there. You select which one you want to enter, and you make your payment.
Okay, so again, one more time, how persons can sign up for this online service?
They can visit IRD, ird.gov.ai, and it will give you the information for them to log on to the online portal at services.gov.ai. Email to the Inland Revenue Department, which is inlandrevenue@gov. Just requesting that they would like to sign up on the online portal, or they can visit the Inland Revenue Department. So there are three. We definitely are working very hard in our taxpayers, and the more we can get them compliant, the more revenue we can generate. We're able to increase all of our services in terms of the roads, the infrastructure and development of the island. So yes, we are working. I think that we are one of the main government entities that collect, like the Comptroller and the Deputy stated. So we have that task at hand, that we have to make sure that the proper education is provided to our taxpayers, that we get our taxpayers online and be smooth going forward, because we're able to generate the revenue that is necessary for us.
I have a question for Mr. Hobson and Mr. Kanika. For persons who have outstanding taxes,
Yes, sir.
and they want to have a tax clearance certificate, you make arrangements for them to pay, as they go.
That's correct. So
So they have to wait until those taxes are paid before they get.
so the way it will work, normally if you come in and we realize that you have something outstanding, we will at that point let you know. So you have to make an arrangement at that moment, whether that be entering into a payment plan. That usually entails down payment. So usually it's about 10% of whatever the outstanding amount is, and then going forward a monthly payment. We usually try to get it paid off within about 2 years. But again, depending on how large the amount that you have, then we will walk along with other means to try to bring that down. So at that point, then we will issue you a 1 month tax clearance, right? Because you have an arrangement in place. But without that arrangement, then you wouldn't be able to be issued any clearance. Now, also, I know some persons tend to try to come in, get that, start a initial down payment, and then don't come back to right. So then what happens is, no, we're gonna mark that, right? And then when you come for the next one, then it makes things a little worse on you, because we're gonna know, say you broke the little trust that we had, so the little leeway that we offered the first time, I can't offer that again, right? So that's why I try to let's talk, let's be open, be honest about it, so we could make sure that we give you something that's fitting for you, right? So we don't want you to walk out and then you realize, oh man, I can't keep up to that amount, right? So just be open. That's what we're here for, and then we'll find something that matches and make sure that you could get out of the debt. We don't want you to have the debt either lingering. Now, let me also state one more thing. Because people think, oh, I just need this one transaction and I'm going away. You as a parent, for example, if you want to leave that home for your child, that tax is still going to show up when that child comes out to try to transfer that property over to themselves.
Oh.
No, they're responsible for that. So you're leaving that burden for somebody regardless. It won't disappear. It won't just fall off because you fall off. Correct. So that's the reason why we try to say, work out a payment plan, right?
Yeah.
Because when your child now inherit that land, if you pass away, I'm not putting that on anyone, but I'm saying, then they now have to go to lands to do that transaction. Then they come here, that comes up, right? So that's flagged, and then at this stage now again, the same thing that you were sitting with us talking about, they now have to sit and talk about. They have to put a plan on before that land will get transferred.
So your children now will assume this debt.
Correct.
After you passed on.
Correct. So right. So it remains there. So it has to be cleared off. So that would hinder the transfer of the property until that property is free and clear. So it can't move from the person that has it outstanding. It has to be free and clear, and then it could move in.
So folks, you're hearing this now, right here today. So if you have land to transfer to your kids, and you have outstanding debt here, you will not get a transfer. You're not able to transfer.
That would hinder you from getting it. Correct. So best to, make sure you get it. Right, correct. Of course, we don't have nothing on land. But once it's a home or house that you're looking to transfer, then yes, it would hinder you.
Test clearances are needed for what? Tell me, just for our listeners, or those persons, I'm sure some person here for the very first time and may be a bit confused too, but break it down for them now. It's required for.
So if you go into the bank to get a loan, they would require you to bring a tax clearance. Applications for passports, they have it.
Passports too?
Right.
No, you just need proof of address.
Right, to show it. But yeah, usually that banking and changing land and land transactions and business transactions. Those are the key ones.
Those are the key ones. Okay, so folks, you heard that. So you have to pay up these things, otherwise, work permits too. So you can't put it unless you have a tax clearance. You must have a tax clearance to get a work permit. Employee must have that tax clearance. All right. So if you have all money, as you said a while ago, that you can make arrangements to pay this bill in terms, installments.
Yes.
What about letters of recommendation from me to someone to get, say, like naturalized and those type of things?
That's part of it too?
I mean, belongership, yes.
That's on it? Belongership?
Yes, you have to have tax clearance.
Wow. Okay. So you have to pay the bill.
Correct. And that's what the tax clearance is there for, really, to try to make you aware. Compliance.
So if a person gets tax clearance now, what do they do? Would they come to this department? Would they go right here?
Yeah, so they come here. We get it processed. It's a 3-day leeway, but it depends on how that person's books look. If everything is clean and clear, we tend to get it turned around within 24 hours. We're trying to work on that process as fast as possible. But it all depends on how many we have at the moment, how long we could process them, how fast we could process them.
Is there a fee for this?
Yes, it's $50 EC for that application fee for the tax clearance.
All right. Okay. Interesting. Tavia, and you're from the Ministry of Finance, right?
Yes.
The Ministry of Finance already.
So the Ministry of Finance is the partner.
Yes.
So I am the partner support representative. So I work along with the Inland Revenue Department, one of our biggest revenue collectors.
Yes.
And I keep them informed with correspondence, and we work together so we can have this lovely show for you today.
Right, I hear you now about that. Now, in terms of, you mentioned support and a bit more about the support you offer to this department from your ministry.
So I'm not sure if I understand the question.
You mentioned that you offer support to this ministry and to this department down here, this department as well, and a bit more details about what you offer to them.
Okay, so as the partner representative, I would receive the correspondence from the ECCB.
Yes.
The umbrella for the FIM.
Yeah.
So I would make sure that I send out the information to Keisha and keep them informed as to what's coming up for FIM, what we have, what we expect, our theme, and just keep them in the loop.
Yes.
As to what's happening.
And your take on financial resiliency, because again in Angola we are very resilient people, as the theme suggests as well, and your perspective on that, how is the department driving resiliency for our people?
Well, from the inland revenue perspective, I think they're doing a lot. They're really trying to get persons to comply and do what they need to do, offer the service, and get persons to...
They're helping. All right.
Yes.
Okay, so now back here across, now to you, brother. In terms of this department, we spoke earlier about, about what you do. You collect taxes, and you spoke of the mission as well for the department. Persons who have issues, and we wish to speak to perhaps officers here. How can they go about that? Just come to the office here?
Yeah, you come to the office. We have email address, inlandrevenue@gov.gov.ai. Or usually government officers, it's their first and last name. For example, mine will be Lonnie.Hobson@gov.ai, and that's if you want to reach an officer. But the inland revenue mailbox is where we normally get anything. Of course, yes, if you show up in the office, we have taxpayer services officers who are here to assist you. Nonetheless, Hammer, you know, as the digital world is changing, that's a lot, you know, where we're looking to move. We know persons like to come into the office. Yes, you know, we have an area where you tend to run into an old friend and see someone who you haven't seen in a while. But we're moving to trying to streamline a lot of things where you could, you know, from the comfort of just sitting there with your tablet, your phone, or at your office with your computer, just to do any of your transactions here at the Inland Review Department as well too. For most part, it wouldn't be everything, but majority of the things that we would transact here.
Okay, and how is the much talked about GST tax performing? A bit about that. I know you have the figures, the whole team will have the figures. How's that performing? Is it satisfactory? Is it?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned earlier, it's performing to a point where we were able to carry out our tax reform in the sense of removing property tax from residential properties, right? Figures-wise, I could definitely bring those off to you.
Okay, good.
And this would be up to, as at the end of September. So September would be the filings that would have taken place in August, right? Because every time the 20th of the following month, that's how it works. So right now, overall, we've collected $129 million in goods and services tax. That's between IRD and customs combined. Right? That's the total that we have correct at this moment up to that point. Right? And this is September 2023 figures. And again, that's $129.2 million collected. So we are well above target that we had set for the department. And coming up now, our November, December months, those are our months that, you know, tend to bring it up again pretty well. Again, because I want person to understand that it comes a lot from the tourism sector. They play a pivotal role in this, and most of the revenue, as we would have reported, comes from that sector overall. While, again, because they will trickle in from the stays at the hotels, they frequent the restaurants, they utilize the stores, they would do the tours, etc., rental cars. So it all trickles back down from that, and that's where a lot of the revenue comes in.
You oftentimes hear comments from persons that GST is okay, but it impedes your cash flow. Why are people saying that? I mean, I'm sure you work with figures, you know what's going on. Is that a fair assessment? Does it somehow restrict cash flow for small to medium-sized businesses at all? Have you assessed that?
Yes. I was speaking the other day to one of my friends. He operates a small trucking business. And speaking with him, understanding how it all works for him. Yes, I guess it would, you know, slow up money that he would. For example, if he goes on to customs right now, brings in a heavy machine or something to that effect, he would have to sink a couple $100,000 in the goods and services tax there, right? And then when he brings that equipment in on island, he still have to wait to get jobs to work it, and then try to build back up for his filings. So that money is kind of held up for him for a 2-3 month period until he's able to, you know, in case. But along the way still though, he's able to utilize it to offset. So it's kind of still controlled at their will. But yes, I understand that money has been removed from your pocket to be paid to something. So of course you could have utilized that for other things such as paying staff, purchasing things, keeping up your licenses for your equipment, etc., etc. So in that instance, it does offer a little burden, but eventually, the longer you're in it, it tends to, you know, come to balance out. So at the start, yes, I could see that it will, you know, give a little growing pains, so to speak.
Your take on that, Tamika? I see you watching me. Yeah, your take on that.
Well, in terms of as it affects businesses, if it affects their cash flow is your question. I would say that it would affect the cash flow, yes, as Mr. Hobson said, in the initial purchase of an item. For instance, if you import an item, you have the GST to pay at the port. But in that period, in the next filing period, you can actually claim back if that equipment that you purchased is to be used in your business for the advancement of your business activity, you can actually claim back that GST in the very next return within the month. And as Mr. Hobson also indicated, you are offsetting the you would call it input tax credit that you would have incurred when you purchased the item, when you imported it, you would pay input tax, GST, at the port. So you can claim that back. And actually you're offsetting it against your sales. So you are in business, you were supposed to be making sales. You know, we would anticipate, we would hope that you're making sales and you have that level of activity that you can very well make these big investments.
Yeah.
So if you are in business, most likely your sales will exceed your expenses.
Yeah, supposed to.
Yes.
So going down.
That is what we anticipate. And if that's the case, then you'll be offsetting it. So in that month when you made that big investment of a capital purchase, you can actually claim it back against your sales. So if you made $100 in sales in GST for that month, you can claim back. If you paid $100 at customs for that equipment, your net payable amount for that month to inland revenue would be zero.
Zero.
Yes, because you would have offset, you're claiming back the GST that you paid at the port against what you would have collected in GST from your sales.
Are we claiming back credits or cash? I mean, that too is a question that most people have out there.
It's credit.
Credits, okay.
It's credit. We talk about cash when we talk about maybe refunds. But the way that it works, you shouldn't really be traditionally in a credit position anyway. You would more likely be in a payable position, as I said, if you are in business and really doing business and performing and managing the business well. And if business activity in the country, economic activity is happening, you should be able to be making you should be making revenue, not losing it. I kind of lost my train of thought.
That's okay. All right, I hear on that. And Keisha, your take on that? I know that you're very strong on that as well. So, what do you take on that?
Yes, I deal with the education aspect of it, providing advisory to persons that register for GST. So, of course, a lot of persons lack the understanding of GST from the onset. But after they realize and they have been educated, they realize the benefits of the GST. So we are getting a lot of persons to come in and voluntarily register because they're understanding that, first of all, it's a matter of you actually doing a proper assessment of your business and the revenue earned over an annual period of time to see if your business is indeed generating the proper amount of revenue to be a sustainable business. So once we have gotten persons aligned with keeping proper accounts of their businesses, then they realize they have met the threshold, they come in and they actually are aware of what the requirements are, how they go about the GST, and they now can see the benefits of being registered with GST.
All right. Well, we can go for a long time, but the time has elapsed on the sale has expired for us here. So I want to thank you. We've been speaking to Mr. Lonnie Hobson. Lonnie Hobson,
yes,
the Controller, Director of IRD, Airline Willem, Deputy Controller, Jamaica Fleming, yes, and
Assistant Controller, Taxpayer Services, Keisha Brooks.
Okay, and
Tavia Nelson Connors.
Minister of Finance, right?
Minister of Finance.
All right. So thank you for your time, and we learned a whole lot today. Thank you.
Thanks,
guys.
thanks
Okay.
for joining us,
Right,
and
okay.
please come and visit us here at IRD.
All right, thank you. So this has been another presentation of FIM ECCB Financial Information Month here on the A9 Willem. And join us next week, I think it is. We'll be on the road again, all right? So thank you for Social Security will be our next stop.